I'm Robert Bianchi. I am the president of the local of the Clicktack County Sheriff's Office Union that involves the DEM employees, Department of Emergency Management dispatchers. That takes in the sergeants, the corrections officers, the deputies, the dispatchers, as I said, and administrative staff with the Sheriff's Office, control board operator, and the jail. Approximately 44 employees that work in law enforcement here with the county. I'm a Goldendale resident. I came up here 6.5 years ago from the Portland metro area. Had spent years in the Gorge enjoying it, and when I retired from a suburban Portland agency, Washington County, I came up here and thought it would just be spectacular to work in this area and do something that I like, which is law enforcement. Been a public servant for almost 30 years. I was an attorney with Washington County, law clerk while I was going through law school in Portland, and became a deputy district attorney, so I've worked mostly in the police, law enforcement area throughout my legal career. I was eventually a senior assistant county counsel and defended police officers, sheriffs, the department in Washington County in law enforcement area. So all my background is law enforcement, or essentially is. Been here for 6.5 years, worked as patrol, worked as a detective here. Prior to that, when I was with Washington County, I was a patrol officer for 5 years. I got assigned to Portland Police Bureau, worked on an interagency street crimes team, bought drugs, worked on a prostitution project in Portland related to an interagency street crimes team in Portland. Drug detective with Washington County, and detective here runs the gamut of all kinds of property crimes, sex crimes, assaults, robberies, things of that nature. Thoroughly enjoyed my time here, and very glad that I came. When I came here, I worked with obviously the employees here at the Sheriff's Office, one of which was Bob Songer. He was a range timber deputy, and he was from the metro area, the Portland metro area. He was with Clark County for years before he went to Elko, Nevada. We know a lot of the same people. We've swapped a lot of stories, and also he's a person you can learn quite a bit from. So when I was going through being a detective here, and some of the cases that I had here, I talked a lot of them over with Bob. He's just a wealth of information and knowledge, and he's very willing to share it. The way he works is one of the things that I think endears him to the employees here at the Sheriff's Office. He's all about team, and it's a team game. Police work is absolutely a team game. Together, everyone achieves more, and it works extremely well in police work. And as a matter of fact, this morning, while I'm off duty, I'm talking to a Goldendale officer who's helping me on my case. And I really like that about Clicktack County. Everybody's willing to share, crosses jurisdictional lines, crosses department lines. And Bob Songer is one of the people that understands that and operates that way himself. I've seen it, and it's what I look forward to as him as sheriff. The local endorsed Bob, and it was, I think, just a natural thing when we got wind that Rick McComas was not going to be continuing into another term. Question went out about who's going to replace him, and being who we are as law enforcement professionals, and there's a lot of great people here that work for this department. We had conversations amongst ourselves about which direction we wanted to go personally in our lives and in our law enforcement career. Me being at the end of mine, it's not all that important, but I look out for the younger people, people coming up through the ranks, and it's one of the things I really like about Bob. He's a great teacher, and as I said before, he shares information so well that it's a real benefit to our younger officers to be able to tap into his knowledge and see how he's done it. And he shares that so well that he's just a perfect fit. Works well across department lines, jurisdictional lines, and very much is into the teamness that is necessary in law enforcement today. The the other things I think about with him is community policing. In a rural area, and I've had to adapt from working in a suburban area with lots of deputies to a city, inner city, one of the largest cities in the United States, working in an inner city area, adapted to that, how many resources they had there, and then to come to a rural area and where there's clearly a large space to police and limited resources, and things are far-flung, and it's not unusual for me to be driving 200 miles in the course of a shift. There's a real need to community police in an area like this and form a partnership with the citizens so that deputy sheriffs can get information and work with the population. Bob's definitely demonstrated that with his work as a range timber deputy. That was his assignment. He worked with our timber companies, our cattle ranchers, and basically worked it just like a regular precinct work, which I've done in suburban Portland, where you get to know your people, know your area, know the problems, and it gives you a real leg up. He's demonstrated that in his range timber assignment, and he understands that, and he understands that that's really how you need to police in a rural area like this. I've come to learn and try different things, some of which based on my experience, but the other is just a basis of, as a law enforcement officer, you go with what works, and it's very obvious that that's the kind of policing that you need to do here, and Bob's a big supporter of that. It's very easy for our agency, when we came to that, who was going to lead us, he was just the appropriate guy. It was just a very easy thing for us as people that are working on the line, answering the calls, doing the work here in Klickitat County to do that. I think that's why it's so obvious that he was endorsed by our local, and now the Golden Bill Police have done the same, as well as Bianchi White Salmon. They know him, they know the way he works, and he's just that kind of guy. As police officers, we're always looking for an environment where we get to succeed in our chosen profession, where there's some recognition for good work, where you have fairness in all the way you're dealt with by an administration, and that you can have pride in your department. And Bob just really fits the bill here. All of us joke about the rules of police work, and I think probably all of us have different rules. I know mine are that you do the right thing, always. You do the best you can, always. That you treat other people the way that you'd want to be treated. And that's important. And it's important that you do that in every way. And the other one is don't embarrass the department. So Bob fits the bill for me. That's my personal way of going about my law enforcement business. I enjoy that. I look for that opportunity. I'm clearly at my age at the tail end of my career, but I'm just the same as I was when I first started in this business. It's an honor to be about the public's business. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to be one of those people in American society that can do something, and do something about righting a wrong, no matter how small it is, and to treat people in a really decent way, even if they're not, for instance, the criminals, happy about what you're doing. You realize that they've been treated well. They might not like what you're doing, but you're being fair with them, and you will deal with them again. So that's really important. So that part about treating people the way you'd want to be treated is extremely important for me. And when I think of Bob and knowing him as I do after working with him for 6 years, I can tell you that he's very much that way. I don't have any problem recommending this guy to people. I think that was where the local came from when they endorsed him. It wasn't like, oh, we're the cops and we should be able to pick the next sheriff. It wasn't like that. It was that we had inside information by working with somebody, so that we just felt that we had a responsibility to share that to citizens of Klickitat County, with the citizens of Klickitat County, so they can make an informed decision. I think personally, to take a guy with that kind of experience, he put 20 years in Clark County, Vancouver, one of the most populated areas in our state. He started as a patrol officer, went up, has experience of being a sergeant in charge of detectives, a sergeant in charge of narcotics, has been a detective, has been worked in narcotics, and then to get into administration as the civil parts of our business, being overseeing the person who ran the jail. That's an important part of being a sheriff, being the undersheriff, having that kind of experience. Then he goes to Elko, Nevada. He's a chief of police there, 20,000 people, approximately the same population as Click County. I think it's 18,000, and running a budget, running all the administrative parts, and then to come to Click County, where he was on the ground floor, working the precinct, working the range timber area, and he basically acting as a deputy sheriff in those areas, and then to be willing to put all of that talent to work for the citizens of Click County. This is a great opportunity for the citizens of Click County to have somebody of this caliber, this well respected in law enforcement. Obviously has the support of the local law enforcement community. It's just a real great opportunity. I think we're really lucky to have this.